Well, hello there. How is everyone? I hope you are all well on this fantastic Friday. We made it together, and we all look fantastic for it, don't we? Well done us. Anyway, I'm going to get straight into the meat and potatoes because I have had a bit of an epiphany. You know, when you think about loads of things and suddenly something just comes to you and you think to yourself, actually, that makes a huge amount of sense. And I'm talking about the Idaho 4 case, obviously, because it's like a daily thing. But I have a question for you, and I want you to let me know down below what your thoughts and feelings are on this situation. Now, we know at this present moment that the only real thing that connects Bryan Kohberger to this crime and could potentially be the thing that sees him found guilty, because let's make no bones about it, it is a massive hurdle. And we can all talk about that it could have been planted, or we can talk about touch DNA. And when we talk about touch DNA, we're talking about the method by which that is transferred and where it came from. So touch DNA differs from like blood DNA or saliva. It's skin cells, and that seems to be what this DNA was. It was skin cells found on the belt, on the snap, the button snap on the knife sheath itself. Now, we can pull that apart, and we know that the defence have to pull that apart because that is the smoking gun, so to speak. So they do have to do their due diligence and see whether they can attack that item. And I think I've found one of the main ways to tackle that. And it's this. Now, Bryan Kohberger, say he's the guy who did it. He goes there, he does this heinous crime. He's already done the difficult part. He's built up that need to go over there and do this crime. He then enters a house, not knowing who's in there, unless he was tipped off, of course, but he's had to enter a home not knowing how many people are in there, whether he could be confronted by people, whether this could indeed turn into an altercation and he is himself overcome. But he does it. He goes through, he goes and does this whole crime. He does it and he leaves. At some point, he is going to realise that he no longer has the sheath. And it's going to be pretty damn obvious that he's going to believe that he left the knife sheath at the house. My question is, why wouldn't he just not return to go and get it? He could have driven, he could have turned his phone off again, because he's already done it once. So even if you believe that Bryan Kohberger thinks that by switching his phone off is going to somehow hide what he's doing, even if he'd done it a second time, you would have to then think, okay, he's turned his phone off twice. That could have in fact gone in his favour, because they wouldn't have known or perhaps thought that someone would go and do this crime and then within an hour or so later return back to the scene. And they certainly wouldn't be able to ascertain what would have spurred him to have done so. Because if they hadn't have found the knife sheath with his DNA on it, there would have been no connection. So let's just put it to you that why would he not have returned to go and get it? Because with his background in, obviously, the field with which he was learning and teaching others, he would have understood at the point where he thinks the knife sheath, I don't have it. He would at that stage, hopefully, unless he just is a complete and utter fucking idiot, that he has potentially left the only connection to him in that property. So I don't understand why he wouldn't return. And I feel that there was only two reasons that he wouldn't return. And that is that he knew he left someone in that house compos mentis, or he felt that they had been found, perhaps. I don't know. To be fair, I only think that there's one reason. Now I'm actually saying it out loud. I actually believe that the only reason he wouldn't return is if he believed there was still somebody in that house that he would then have to confront a second time. Which brings into question, did he or did he not have an interaction with Bethany Funk and Dylan Mortensen? Because if he believed that he entered into this home and he dispatched everybody in there and left no witnesses and left and got away, what would have stopped him from going back and getting it? He knows he can get in there. He knows in his mind that there's going to be nobody in there to confront him, and he can go in there and get it. Because I do think that it would have been quite quick that he would have found out that that sheath was gone. Now, it has been stated there's a potential that he did return, and he returned somewhere between 9 and 9:30, so it could be argued that perhaps it was at that stage that he went back. But even then, he didn't enter the home, and it would appear that at this time, if you believe the 911 call and what happened and the delay, he still could have gone in the house at that time. He could have gone in there and could have retrieved it, unless there was activity at that house, unless he saw that the front door was open and he did not leave that front door open himself, and that is why he didn't re-enter the house and left. But I just can't work it out. I can't work it out why, at the point with which he would have thought, I forgot it, why he would not have returned to get it. If that was the only thing, and that was the mistake that you made, put yourself in that position. I know it's difficult, because many people, well, I wouldn't be in that position, but imagine if you was in that position, you'd done this crime, and you had left that behind, and that was potentially the only thing that could connect you to it. What would you do? Let me know down below, because I feel that that's an argument. Why would they not return and go and get it? I'll catch you all in the next one.